Ah, yes, the ever popular reshoots right before a movie actually comes out. Uh, you know, what's Captain America did this? The Captain America that just came out not too long ago. They had like four reshoots because every time they showed it to a test audience, they were like, uh, uh. But Fantastic Four First Steps undergoing reshoots nearly 2 months before release. Alarming sign of trouble for film that was supposed to save the MCU. Also, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Adam, for making my dreams possible. He's like, Grandpa, you're too kind. Isn't that right, Bubba? He's like, oh, Grandpa, I love your big sausagey Shrek fingers. Are you a good boy? Mwah. Say hello to everyone. Say hello, everyone. Hello. He's such a sweet boy. Look at this. Look, he's so sweet. So good. He's like, oh man, Grandpa, sausagey fingers. So delectable and tasty. Nom 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 nom. He forgets they're my fingers and not food. That's how big and sausagey they are. Look at these things. They're like bratwurst attached to my arm. Mwah. Go on. Anyway. Anyway. Adam. Marvel's Fantastic Four First Steps is entering dangerous territory. The late stage reshoots just months before it hits the big screen. With 2.5 months until its scheduled July 25th, 2025. Nice. Release date, the highly publicized Marvel reboot is currently undergoing filming once again in Los Angeles. And for many, this echoes a familiar disaster for Marvel Studios and Disney. Got Julia Garner there is Shalabal. Recent set photos reveal Julia Garner's filming scenes as Shalabal, the female Silver Surfer, wearing a white cosmic patterned dress and sporting long blonde hair. Notably absent any trace of her Silver Surfer form. No chrome skin, no board, no motion capture suit. Just a solemn figure staring out at the shoreline. Probably going to go into how she became the Silver Surfer. Because again, she's an actual character that does exist in the comics. It might have been like a one-off thing, her as the Silver Surfer, but she was introduced very, very long time ago. I think it was like early, like 2000s, where she was introduced as a Silver Surfer, but Shalabal as a character has existed since like I think the 60s or 70s. So she is a real character. It's not just a character they made up. So whether people like it or not, it's not just a character they're like, oh well, let's make the Silver Surfer female. No, there was a female Silver Surfer, even if she died in one issue. It doesn't matter. She still existed. So no one can say, oh well, they're just making people up or they're gender swapping. They can't do it this time. Can I help you, Adam? Yeah, I want some attention, Grandpa. I just gave you attention, dude. This could mean that the studio is adding in a flashback scenes of the female surfer late in the game. It's a striking image because it might mean Marvel is still figuring out who or what this character even is. Too late for reshoots? Yes. For a visual effects heavy blockbuster like Fantastic Four, reshoots this close, yeah, and it's probably gonna be expensive too. Are not typical and they are extremely alarming. These films require months of CGI rendering, especially with characters like Galactus. Yeah, because we're not just getting some kind of giant puff of cloud and dust and whatever like the original Fantastic Four movies. Because if you remember Rise of the Silver Surfer, we didn't actually really see Galactus. I think there was like a silhouette of him. when it showed Silver Surfer talking to him, kind of like it was like a flash. But other than that, when he was coming to Earth, he was just this giant puff of smoke and space dust. And but here we actually get to see Galactus. He is stepping around on Earth. So, which is kind of exciting because we don't really get to see Galactus, and he's a really cool character. Also, way more powerful than they show him to be in the movies. Like, this dude is insanely powerful, which is one reason why I don't like the movies, because they don't utilize these characters the way they could. And Cosmic Heralds, like the Silver Surfer. Scenes filmed now will go straight to the VFX pipeline and under extreme time constraints. This is exactly how quality suffers, and we've seen it before from Marvel as recently as this year. Captain America: Brave New World infamously underwent massive 3-4 reshoots, because like I said, every time they showed it to a test audience, no one liked it, and then when it finally came out, it just no one liked it. And the final product showed every crack. With a clunky narrative, CGI inconsistencies, and awkward pacing, the film became one of the worst performing summer Marvel entries in history. Despite heavy marketing and a patriotic brand, it collapsed at the box office. Like, and we actually get to see Galactus. We saw in the last trailer where he's physically walking around. And it's really cool because, again, he is a character that's just not utilized nearly as much as he should be. And he's a really cool character. Like, read the comics, read his backstory. He is really cool. He's extremely powerful. And I've said the same thing with, like, X-Men and, with, like, Storm. How Storm is an Omega level mutant, but you never get to fully see what she's capable of. The things she does in the comics, the things these other mutants do in the comics are insane. But we never get to see that kind of power in the movies. And it's a shame because you want to see great characters like Storm and what they're truly capable of. Same thing with the Phoenix Force, when Jean's taken over by the Phoenix Force. The shit she can do in the comics, the movies barely scratch the surface what she could do. Like, yeah, she was extremely powerful, but it just scratches the surface of what she could do. The comics, it's insane. And I wish they made a more faithful movie, or a movie that's more faithful to the comics, because that's the kind of stuff that would interest people. These cosmic battles and these, with these I mean, it gets a little ridiculous when you have gods and gods above gods, but then you have, like, the very concept of time or death or this or that, and they're being defeated. It gets a little ridiculous, and you have beings that can wipe out the multiverse, but then they're defeated. It gets a little ridiculous, but these characters that we see on a regular basis, popular characters, I would love to see them being fully represented. Insiders have long hinted the first steps might end with the destruction of the team's timeline, potentially setting the stage for Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. In truth, Marvel may be pivoting to streamline multiversal elements after years of confusing storytelling and declining audience and interest. Adam, oh my god, what? You want to be held like a baby? He's like, no, Grandpa, I just want your big sausagey fingers. But the kind of pivot is dangerous when you already know, when you're already this far down the production pipeline. The smells of last-minute damage control, the kind that doomed Brave New World. The writing team shuffle. Let's not forget Fantastic Four has cycled through a small army of writers, including Avatar 2's Josh Friedman, WandaVision's Cam Squires, and now Black Widow's Eric Pearson brought in for a final polish. I'm gonna I got your paws. I'm gonna eat your little licorice beans. And he's purring like a whore. He's like, oh, Grandpa, yes. Oh, yes. Mwah. What? What, Bubba? Look at the face. Mwah. Go on. Ooh. Go on. Go lay down for a bit. That alone signals creative instability. Combine it with these Fantastic Four reshoots, and we're looking at yet another Marvel project in post-production triage. Conclusion: gay tripping is gay. You remember that saying back in the day? Marvel Studios has been on shaky footing ever since Endgame, which each new project fans hope for the next one will be the return to form. But Fantastic Four First Steps is looking more and more like Captain America Brave New World, a bloated, preachy, last-minute patch job with expensive stakes and rushed execution. This is supposed to be the MCU's rebirth. If these reshoots are any indication, it might instead be its last casualty. I doubt that. As a great, still great man once said, "Oh no." Anyway, what do you have to say about it, Adam? Actually, come here. Come on. What do you have to say about it? Ooh. What do you have to say? Do you think it's ridiculous? Do you think it's ridiculous, huh? Do you think they're desperate? Like, it's already bad and they're just trying to damage control? Huh? You're not as talkative as Roxas. He would be answering. He's like, I don't know. I don't care, Grandpa. I just want to be loved. Mwah. Mwah. Oh. Go on. Get out of here. You bother me. But yeah, when you have a reshoot, you know, it may not be as bad as, say, Brave New World, where it's 4 reshoots. But the fact is that they have to reshoot. They did the same thing with Snow White. He knocked over my Keyblade. I know you're wondering, like, John, he knocked over your Keyblade? Yeah. He knocked over my Keyblade. But yeah, Snow White did the same thing. You know, they had to do a reshoot. They had to increase, you know, get more money because they had to do all the dwarves and CGI. And look what happened. It bombed. So when there's reshoots, and that's the sign of a bad movie. So I don't know what they're hoping to accomplish with this. And I don't know why they can't just make good movies anymore. But these are people who are supposed to be creative. These are people who are supposed to be intelligent. These are people who get paid to do this kind of thing, and they can't do it. You know, I bet any one of you, especially the ones who read the comics, any one of you could make this movie. Like I said, Galactus is insanely powerful. You have... most of these characters haven't even scratched the surface of what they can truly do in what they do in the comics. And I think if they took those kinds of powers and showed them on screen, the power to basically rewrite reality itself, with just a mere thought, or how powerful the Silver Surfer actually is, because Silver Surfer is a lot stronger than he is in the movies. That would be really, really cool. But, you know, it just seems like they're afraid to do that. So, anyway. That's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.